All right, so this is a little tutorial or walkthrough of your musical research project. I think most things are pretty self-explanatory, but just to clarify anything you might have questions on, and sometimes it's just nicer to hear someone talk you through it. So obviously you know your name. Once you have chosen your musical, so this is after going through all of the different websites and kind of browsing what you might be interested in doing, you're going to put your name of your musical there. The musical company, so where did you find your information? Was it Music Theater International, Concord, or Theatrical World Rights? Okay. Now, there are a few newer shows that aren't available through those companies yet. So if that is the case, just say this is the name of the musical. It's probably a newer musical if that's the case, and put where you found, that information on that musical. In your own words, what is the storyline of the musical? And this can be, a paragraph or less. Basically, it's the big idea of what the show is about. It's not putting in all those little details. What is the hook? Like, what makes people want to come and see this show? Why would it be successful? For Shrek, it is a well-known, children's and families movie. People know it really well, that kind of thing. And it's got beloved characters that people want to see, that kind of thing. Is it based on real life events, a true story, a book? How is it similar or different? So this is where you get to deep dive a little bit more. And I always find these stories about musicals really interesting because there's usually some semblance of truth or something that, connects to people. So deep dive on that a little bit. That's something that you probably won't find on your musical website that the main information is on, that you might have to dig other places for. What is the character breakdown? Usually if you're on the musical sites, they have a character breakdown. They describe who the characters are. Some do not. So if that is the case, then go find another website that describes who the characters are. And you may copy and paste those, but make them readable and usable for this document. Okay. Don't print all the ads on the side or copy and paste all the ads and things like that. Okay. Orchestration, that's usually found in those websites. What are the band requirements? Is it a big band? Is it a 3-piece band? Okay, that kind of thing. What style of music is it? Lots of different musicals now are having more of a theme. I would say older musicals like Oklahoma, Sound of Music, they just have kind of a general, what I say, catch-all classical musical style. Okay, so if you're struggling with trying to figure that out, you can go ahead and just put the classical musical style. What is the setting of the show? That's really important because then costuming goes into that. What kind of props are you going to need? All those kinds of things that are good to know before you go into a show. Like Mamma Mia was very easy to cast because you guys could basically find all the stuff that you needed. It was a more modern show. But then Shrek was crazy. Like that's why we decided to rent costumes because the things that we needed were just not readily available or affordable. So special effects, you need to have flying. Does a car need to come across stage? Does a helicopter need to fly in? Those kinds of things are good to know because it's important that those things that are highlighted are put in the show. What themes or lessons are most prevalent in the show? This is always kind of an important thing to think about. What are the teachable moments in the show? Not just musically, but, worldly. What would this be appropriate for a high school performance? If it's not, just say, and why it wouldn't be. And if it is, say why it would be. Other interesting tidbits you learned, if you read my examples, there's always cool things that you learn, like in Finding Neverland, the royalties to that show are still going to a children's hospital, which I think is just like those things that are really cool to connect, with the past of that musical and how it's still affecting people today. So, all right, let me know if you have any other questions.